So I'm here today with Heidi Rickard from Flourishing Life Counselling, and we're in your beautiful rooms and wanted to ask you a few questions just so people can get to know you, but also get to know what counselling is and can counselling actually benefit them. And so got a few questions for you today, Heidi. And the first question would be, what exactly is counselling?
So, counselling is this space between you and I where people can come and share what's going on in their life in a really safe, non-judgmental space. It's a place of exploring things from their past, things that are relevant today. Sometimes it's just about unpacking that a little bit more deeper. Somebody once said to me, it's basically a slowed down conversation.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we live in such a rushed environment.
Yes.
Where else are you going to get undivided attention
Yeah.
and a slowed down conversation
That's right.
than in counselling?
It's this dedicated time and space for you to really be present with what's going on in your life. So,
Wow,
yeah.
that's fantastic. It sounds beautiful. And I've got another question, which would be like, if you've never done counselling before, because there's people out there that may have never done counselling, but they've heard of counselling. What actually happens in a session? Can you kind of unpack what a session with you would look like?
Yeah, well, it's really unique, as you can imagine, depending on what the person is coming in for. So it's going to look very different person to person. So we really clarify goals early on to unpack what the person is hoping to achieve. And sometimes that changes as it goes as well. So there's no sort of one size fits all. Basically, my job is to listen really well, provide empathy, provide a safe space where the person just feels like, I can open up and share with you. And so my role, Andrew, really isn't to tell people what to do. My role is to sit here and come alongside them and help them, be the author of their own life is another way of saying it, and figure out things together.
Yeah, wow. I'm hearing that a lot, that it's collaborative, that
Yes.
you're not trying to take away someone's autonomy or their power. You're actually working with them to help them come up with solutions, to help them see healing and help them.
Exactly.
Wow, that's incredible.
Because if I don't do that, then when I'm not there, it doesn't work.
Wow, so you're actually giving people tools for life
Yeah,
outside of the session.
that's right.
What a valuable service. And so, a lot of people, when they think about counselling, and you yourself would say it needs to be safe, and there's this sense of, okay, what does safety look like?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, their hesitation, a hesitation to counselling can be that feels out of my control and it feels unsafe.
Yes.
But can you help us understand what would make your counselling sessions a safe space?
Safety is super important because without the foundation of safety, there can be no authenticity there. So people might have shame, they might have fear. There's all sorts of reasons, genuine reasons why people can feel unsafe. So the basis of the counselling relationship is that there's trust, and that trust is built and earned. So I work really hard to provide that safety for people. We have a counselling term coined by Carl Rogers called unconditional positive regard. And that basically sums up that I am here thinking the best of you. I am not here to judge you in any way. I'm here to really believe the best in you. And timing is really important too, Andrew. So there's absolutely no pressure to go somewhere where the person doesn't feel that they're ready or able to go. So from that perspective, you're driving this thing, and I'm really tuning in to your body language, to your emotions, to say, I can, that helps me know when you feel safe and we can sort of progress.
Wow. So you work at the pace of the person coming in for the counselling.
Exactly.
That's incredible. And I do have another question, which would be, what is counselling not? Because, someone comes and they book a counselling session with you, might be helpful for them to know what you're not going to be doing in that session.
Some people think that counselling, you go and see a counsellor and they tell you what to do. We definitely don't do that. That would not be true to the profession of what we're here for. It's not a place where we make people feel guilty or have shame about their past. It's also not somewhere, like I was saying, that we're going to push you to go where you don't feel ready. And the biggest thing probably is it's not a space for inauthenticity. You've got to show up as you really are. And that includes me as well. So there's this transaction that happens here that we're both here being really real. And that is the space where good stuff happens, healing happens through the relationship. I can't emphasize that enough.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And just speaking about being ready to be authentic, being ready to jump into counselling.
Yeah.
Can you talk us a little bit about, talk to us about how people come to counselling at different stages?
Yeah. So we refer to a stages of change model, which is a very well recognised one. So you start off with somebody, might be pre-contemplation stage. So they're thinking about, maybe I should see a counsellor. They're in the early stages of unpacking what that might look like. The next stage is contemplation, which is I'm seriously thinking about this now, not just, I wonder if that would be helpful. Preparation, action, that's the counselling itself, and then maintenance. So it's a bit of a cycle you can see, and people can enter counselling at any of those stages. And also along those lines, Steve DeShazer, who is one of the founders of Solution Focused Therapy, he talks about there's 3 different types of clients, and the categories are visitors, complainants, and customers. And they might sound like strange terms, Andrew, but visitors are basically the people that come because somebody's encouraging them to. So, it might be like, you really need to get counselling, so they do it sort of reluctantly. Complainants are people that will come in and love to talk about everybody else's problems, won't really take responsibility. And then customers are the ones who are here because they're ready. They're ready to work on some goals and have a good attitude. So that's a helpful thing to sort of unpack as well and think, where am I sitting in these categories?
Yeah, so am I ready to actually come for counselling if I'm just coming because someone forced me, or I'm coming just to complain about everyone else, or do I actually want help? Do I want to?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really
right.
helpful.
Yes.
And so I imagine some people, they would worry and they'd feel a little bit vulnerable coming into counselling. How do you help people feel comfortable in that vulnerability?
Yeah. Vulnerability is a big thing. And it's very natural because you're coming to speak to a stranger about stuff that's really hard to talk about, or stuff that you may have pushed down so far deep. So it's very natural to feel vulnerable. And I guess part of my role is to create a place where it feels safe for your vulnerability to be present. So me listening well, holding space for emotions, reflecting, validating your feelings is also another really big part. So this relationship, with time, we build up this lovely, trusting, safe space. And one of my all-time favourite quotes is from Brené Brown, and she says, "Our greatest measure of courage is the ability to be vulnerable." And I just love that because it really is the greatest measure of courage. It's easier to keep that inside. It's hard to reveal what's really on your heart.
But that is the number one way that you're going to get healing, isn't it? Is actually to come with your courage, to be vulnerable and get it out into the open.
That's
Yeah.
right. And it has to occur.
Mm.
You can't do this healing journey without that vulnerability present.
Yeah.
So it's hard but worth it.
Yeah, and there's no shortcuts, is there?
No.
Yeah.
Definitely no shortcuts.
Yeah, because I think in this day and age, people think, oh, if I just go on YouTube, I can fix all my problems. Or if I just go on Instagram, I can fix all my problems. But people need real conversations. AI is not going to solve all the problems.
They do. And I am really passionate. And what people don't understand, some people might say, oh, this counselling thing, you're just coming and you're just talking and the person's just listening. But there's a powerful thing that happens when somebody shares their heart to an attuned listener.
Mm.
That is part of the healing. They actually say that 80% of the importance is on the therapeutic relationships or alliance that's developed. 20% is the modality that the counsellor uses. So that speaks volumes about what's actually happening in this space between you and I. And from a neuroscience perspective, the brain is just lighting up and firing and joining those neurons and building new connections. So don't ever underestimate the power of sharing your story with someone who genuinely cares and is there to listen.
And what a gift in this day and age to be talking to someone that doesn't have a phone in one of their hands.
Totally agree.
Like that's worth a lot of money in and of itself. Almost impossible to have a conversation with someone without a phone in their hand.
It's so true and yet so sad. Sad but true.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
So someone's considering counselling, but they're still a little bit unsure. We're just going to kind of end on this one.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to someone if they're not convinced already, which they should be, but if they're not convinced already to come in and to see you and spend some time getting some counselling, what would you say to someone who's hesitant?
I would say that it's very normal to feel unsure and it's perfectly okay to feel that way. And it is a really big step. So for some people, actually picking up the phone or jumping on the computer is huge. So just to acknowledge that's a big step. You don't have to have it all figured out before you start. That's the thing. You can just make that first appointment, come and see how it feels. So I would just encourage you to try it. If there's a reason why you think, you know what, this just keeps coming up and I can't understand this about myself, or why do I always react in this way? Come and talk about it. If you feel uncomfortable, you're calling the shots. You never have to come back again.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Someone once said, if nothing changes, nothing changes.
That's right.
So
what have you got
you've
to
got to
lose?
just give it a go.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
good. All right. Well, thank you so much, Heidi, for your time. Now, someone's thinking to themselves, I want to take the first step. I'd love to get some counselling. My question would be, how do they get in touch with you? And I would have another question would be, do they have to be near your office here in Lilydale, Australia? Do they have to be local? How do people find out more? How do they book a session? And is online a possibility?
Absolutely. So probably the easiest way is to head straight to my website, which is flourishinglifecounselling.com.au. I am based here in Lilydale. I do face-to-face appointments, but I certainly do Zoom appointments as well. I'm available most days of the week, and I do an evening as well. So my phone number is on that website as well. You're welcome to call me. If I can't answer, I'll get back to you. You can send me an email, but the easiest way is to go straight to the website and click on the book here button. That will take you to my bookings page.
Wonderful. So that's flourishinglifecounselling.com.au, and just click that book an appointment button right now and get in touch with Heidi. She'd love to hear from you. Well done, Heidi. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. And I really, I feel very listened to.
Oh, good.
And I think that people would be very blessed to get an appointment with you. So thank you, Heidi, and thanks for helping so many lives.
Well, thank you very much. I've really enjoyed my time with you today, Andrew. Thanks so much.